Some conservatives are concerned about some of the rulings by Judge Brett Kavanaugh. And here to talk about past cases of interest is Brad Dacus with the Pacific Justice Institute. Brad, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on the program. Thank you.
Your organization had a victory in a case before Kavanaugh. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was a very important victory. We at Pacific Justice were defending a pastor, Rick Warren of Saddleback Church, when he was offered to give a prayer at the presidential inauguration of President Obama. And this was a great honor. He was planning on doing the prayer. He was going to pray in Jesus' name. Well, a lawsuit was filed by an atheist, and we at Pacific Justice were brought in to defend him. We won at the lower court level. The prayer went on. It then went on appeal to the D.C. Circuit Court, and it was heard by a three-judge panel, including Judge Kavanaugh. Now, the majority opinion was that the gentleman who brought the lawsuit didn't have standing. But Judge Kavanaugh went out of his way in a concurring opinion to state very clearly that even if he did have standing, this is still protected. The Constitution's First Amendment Establishment Clause does not in any way prohibit public prayers at public events such as this one. And that was a very bold move on his part to make it very clear that the First Amendment is full and it's strong and it's to be respected by the courts. We had another decision. It wasn't actually our case, but it was another case that came down where he was in the minority opinion, but he was ruling in favor of the constitutionality of being able to support. Actually, he didn't rule in favor. He wrote a friend of the court brief as a private attorney in support of having prayer at graduation ceremonies. And that was also a very significant sign, as far as we're concerned, of where he's headed in respecting public displays of religious expression in accordance with the First Amendment. So those are really two wonderful hints from a religious freedom and an Establishment Clause perspective of what we could expect for him in the future.
But you say he's had a mixed record on pro-life issues. What about that?
Yeah, well, you know, a number of years ago, I think it was back in 2006, he made a public statement that he would not reverse Roe versus Wade. You know, was this a resolution? Was this something that was just said flippantly? We don't know. And he also ruled against a pro-life demonstrator in front of the White House. Now, there may be other reasons why he ruled that way, perhaps for law, order, et cetera. But on the positive side, he did rule in a case applying Obamacare's mandate to require businesses and organizations to provide abortifacients. He ruled against that. And he said that no, that the free exercise rights of individuals and businesses and entities trumps any mandate by Obamacare when it comes to providing for abortifacients. He also recently ruled in the minority against a decision by the circuit court to allow an illegal immigrant teenager who is under the guardianship and custody of the government to have an abortion. He said, no, this is not a right and entitlement, much less the discretion and authority of the federal government when it comes to these issues such as abortion. So I think that that's a very positive sign. I think at the end of the day, whether or not he overturns Roe versus Wade or not, I believe he will give great deference to states who want to adopt laws and measures that help protect the unborn and make abortions less common. So that's at the very least I think we could probably expect. But an outright reversal of Roe versus Wade, that is something we'll just have to see if it happens.
What do you think are the biggest unanswered questions about Kavanaugh when it comes to the issues Christians and conservatives are most concerned about, like faith, family, and freedom?
Yeah, you know, there's a big question mark with regards to how he's going to weigh LGBTQ rights versus religious freedom. You know, how would he vote on in the Masterpiece case, for example, dealing with a Christian baker not wanting to compromise his faith and provide a custom-made wedding cake for a gay wedding? We don't know that. Now, we can speculate based upon his philosophy of original intent and proper jurisprudence in that regard, that he would rule and say, no, the free exercise rights are there clearly in the Constitution. Those trump any interests or privileges or rights created statutorily. But we just don't know that for sure. So that's going to be a little bit of a gamble. We do know that by his track record, he has a solid foundation of federalism, of separation of powers, of respect with the Constitution with regards to original intent. Those are wonderful pillars for a foundation moving forward. But there is still, nonetheless, some uncertainty that we're just going to have to deal with, and hope and pray that he will apply those principles properly to those issues.
All right, Brad Dacus with the Pacific Justice Institute. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.